Everyone in the city knew the name Vittorio Moretti, even those who pretended not to. His empire stretched across ports, casinos, luxury real estate, underground gambling rings, and illegal trade routes that crossed multiple countries. Newspapers never mentioned him directly, but politicians lowered their voices when discussing him. Police commissioners mysteriously resigned after investigating his operations. Rival gangs either joined him or vanished. For nearly 30 years, Vittorio ruled like a ghost king from the shadows. His mansion stood high above the coastline, hidden behind massive iron gates and surrounded by private security. Imported marble floors reflected crystal chandeliers worth millions. Priceless paintings decorated every hallway. Yet despite the wealth and luxury, something dark had settled over the mansion during recent months. Vittorio was dying. At first it seemed minor. Fatigue. Occasional dizziness. Then came the headaches. Violent coughing fits. Sleepless nights. His once commanding voice became weak and shaky. The powerful man who terrified entire organizations could barely climb stairs without assistance. Doctors were flown in from Switzerland, London, Dubai, and New York. Each one examined him privately under strict secrecy agreements. Millions were spent on tests, treatments, and experimental medicine. Yet every diagnosis contradicted the last. One doctor suspected neurological damage. Another believed it was a rare blood disorder. A third quietly suggested poisoning, but found no proof. Meanwhile, paranoia spread through Vittorio's inner circle. His bodyguards checked every meal. His chef was interrogated repeatedly. Even family members became suspects. Trust disappeared inside the mansion. Conversation stopped when someone entered the room. Men who once laughed together now watched each other carefully. And then there was Sofia. Most people barely noticed her. She arrived every morning before sunrise wearing plain gray uniforms and carrying cleaning supplies through the mansion's endless corridors. She scrubbed floors, dusted expensive furniture, polished silverware, and cleaned rooms no one else wanted to enter. She moved silently through the house like a shadow. To the guards, she was invisible. To Vittorio's family, she was irrelevant. But Sofia noticed things. She noticed untouched meals returning to the kitchen. She noticed medicine bottles disappearing too quickly. She noticed the strange smell in Vittorio's tea every evening. Most importantly, she noticed fear. Not fear from the Mafia boss. Fear from the people around him. One evening, while cleaning Vittorio's private office, Sofia accidentally overheard a heated argument between two senior members of the organization. Their voices echoed through the half-open door. "He won't survive another month," one whispered. "He's getting weaker faster than expected," replied the other. Sofia froze. Expected? The word echoed in her mind long after the conversation ended. That night, she couldn't sleep. Something felt wrong. Deeply wrong. The next morning, Sofia arrived earlier than usual. While cleaning the dining room, she discovered a small crystal vial hidden beneath the tablecloth cabinet. Inside was a dark liquid with no label. Her hands trembled. She had worked in wealthy homes for years. She recognized expensive wine, medicine, perfume, even narcotics. But this substance was unfamiliar. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Sofia quickly hid the vial in her pocket just as one of Vittorio's guards entered the room. "What are you doing here so early?" he asked coldly. "Cleaning," she answered quietly. The guard stared at her for several seconds before leaving. But from that moment forward, Sofia realized something terrifying. Someone inside the mansion wanted Vittorio dead. And whoever it was had already gotten very close to succeeding. The mansion no longer felt luxurious. It felt like a prison filled with predators waiting for their king to fall. And Sofia, the quiet cleaning woman nobody noticed, had just become the most dangerous witness in the house. Sofia spent the next several days observing everything carefully. She kept her head down. She cleaned quietly. But behind her calm expression, her mind raced constantly. Every hallway conversation, every suspicious glance, every tray of food entering Vittorio's room suddenly mattered. The mansion had become a battlefield disguised as luxury. One night, While polishing silverware near the kitchen entrance, Sofia noticed Vittorio's personal assistant preparing tea alone. The assistant, Marco, was one of the few men trusted completely by the Mafia boss. He had served Vittorio for over 15 years and controlled nearly every aspect of the household. Marco looked nervous. He checked the hallway repeatedly before opening a small metal container hidden inside his jacket. Sofia watched carefully from the shadows as he poured several drops of dark liquid into Vittorio's tea. Her heart nearly stopped. The same dark liquid from the crystal vial. Sofia quickly stepped back before being seen. Her breathing became shallow. She had just witnessed attempted murder inside one of the most dangerous homes in the country. But the real question terrified her even more.
Why?
Marco had always appeared loyal. Vittorio trusted him more than his own relatives. Yet now Sofia understood something chilling about organized crime. Power changes loyalty, and dying leaders create ambitious enemies. The following evening, Vittorio's condition worsened dramatically. He collapsed during dinner, coughing blood onto the white tablecloth while family members screamed in panic. Guards rushed into the room. Doctors were called immediately. Marco stood nearby, pretending to be concerned. But Sofia saw something hidden behind his expression. Relief. That single moment confirmed everything. Still, exposing Marco would be nearly impossible. Sofia had no evidence except what she saw. And accusing Vittorio's most trusted assistant without proof could get her killed instantly. So she made a dangerous decision. She would investigate alone. Late that night, after most guards rotated shifts, Sofia quietly entered Marco's office using a stolen keycard she found earlier during cleaning duties. The room smelled of expensive cologne and cigarette smoke. Financial records covered the desk. Phones buzzed constantly with encrypted messages. Then she discovered the safe. Inside were stacks of cash, fake passports, offshore account details, and medical reports about Vittorio. But one document changed everything. It revealed tiny traces of arsenic inside Vittorio's bloodstream. Poison. Slow, controlled poisoning over many months. Sofia's hands shook as she turned pages faster. Another document detailed exact dosage schedules. Someone had carefully weakened Vittorio without triggering immediate suspicion. And Marco's signature appeared at the bottom. Suddenly footsteps echoed outside the office. Someone was coming. Sofia quickly grabbed several papers and hid beneath the desk seconds before the door opened. Marco entered with another man. "The doctors still suspect illness," Marco whispered. "And the family? They're already fighting over leadership." The second man laughed quietly. "Perfect. Once Vittorio dies, the empire fractures. We take control of the ports immediately." Sofia covered her mouth to avoid breathing too loudly. This wasn't personal revenge. It was a corporate-style coup inside the Mafia. Marco continued speaking. "Nobody suspects me. By the time they realize the truth, I'll already control the organization." The men eventually left. But Sofia remained frozen beneath the desk long after the room fell silent. She now carried evidence powerful enough to destroy multiple criminal empires. And if Marco discovered she knew the truth, she would disappear forever. The next morning, Sofia realized she was no longer safe. Every sound inside the mansion felt threatening. Guards appeared more alert than usual. Conversations stopped when she entered rooms. Even the air seemed heavier, as if the house itself sensed the growing danger hidden within its walls. Meanwhile, Vittorio's health continued collapsing. The once feared Mafia king now spent most of his time confined to bed under constant medical supervision. Rumors spread rapidly across the criminal underworld. Rival organizations prepared for war. Politicians secretly distanced themselves from Vittorio's network. Investors moved money offshore. The empire was beginning to crack. And Marco knew time was running out. Sofia secretly copied the poisoning documents and hid them inside cleaning supply containers no one would ever inspect. But evidence alone wasn't enough. She needed someone powerful enough to confront Marco directly. The problem was simple. Nobody trusted anyone anymore. Vittorio's sons blamed each other for betrayal. Senior captains secretly gathered loyal soldiers. Armed men patrolled hallways day and night. One wrong accusation could trigger a massacre inside the mansion itself. Then something unexpected happened. Vittorio called for Sofia personally. The request shocked everyone. Servants rarely interacted directly with the Mafia boss unless necessary. Guards escorted her upstairs through heavily protected corridors into Vittorio's private chamber. The powerful crime lord looked almost unrecognizable. His skin appeared gray. Dark circles surrounded his eyes. Oxygen tubes rested beside the bed. Yet despite the illness, his stare remained sharp and intimidating. "You've worked here 6 years," Vittorio said weakly. "Yes, sir." "You notice things." Sofia stayed silent. Vittorio slowly leaned forward. "Someone here wants me dead." Her heartbeat exploded. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Vittorio revealed something terrifying. "I built this empire because I understood fear better than anyone," he whispered. "But now, I smell betrayal inside my own house." Sofia realized he already suspected poisoning, but he didn't know who. She hesitated carefully before speaking. "Trust the people who are ignored," she said quietly. Vittorio studied her face for a long moment. Then he dismissed the guards. The room fell silent. Slowly, Sofia removed the copied documents from her cleaning bag and placed them beside his bed. Vittorio's expression changed instantly as he read Marco's signature. Not shock.
Rage.
Pure, cold rage. For nearly a minute, the aging Mafia boss said nothing. Then, he looked toward the giant windows overlooking the ocean. "I treated him like family," he whispered. Sofia expected shouting. Violence. Immediate retaliation. Instead, Vittorio smiled. And somehow, that smile felt more dangerous than anger. "You did the right thing," he said calmly. But outside the room, unknown to both of them, hidden security cameras had already recorded everything. Marco was watching. And now Sofia had become a target. Marco acted quickly. Within hours of discovering Sofia's betrayal, he launched his final move. Armed men loyal to him quietly took positions across the mansion. Security systems were disabled floor by floor. Phone lines suddenly stopped working. Several guards loyal to Vittorio disappeared without explanation. The coup had begun. Around midnight, gunshots shattered the silence. Screams echoed through marble corridors as rival factions opened fire inside the mansion. Crystal chandeliers exploded. Bullets tore through expensive artwork. The palace of luxury transformed into a war zone within minutes. Sofia hid inside a storage room trembling as automatic gunfire thundered outside. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was civil war. Meanwhile, Vittorio refused evacuation. Despite his illness, the aging Mafia boss armed himself and gathered remaining loyal guards inside his office. Years of criminal leadership had taught him one brutal lesson. Weakness invites predators. Marco's men stormed the East Wing aggressively, eliminating resistance room by room. Smoke filled hallways. Emergency lights flashed red across the mansion. Outside, armored SUVs arrived carrying additional gunmen. The empire was collapsing in real time. But Marco made one critical mistake. He underestimated Sofia. While hiding, she discovered the mansion's old maintenance tunnels, forgotten passageways built decades earlier for staff movement during political raids. Using these tunnels, she navigated secretly beneath the mansion while gunfire raged above. Eventually, she reached the security control room. Most cameras were offline. Blood covered the floor. A wounded guard struggled to breathe beside broken monitors. "You have to warn Vittorio," he whispered. Sofia quickly restored partial security feeds and discovered Marco's true plan. He wasn't just killing Vittorio. He planned to destroy the entire mansion using explosives hidden beneath the underground garage. Every witness, every loyalist, every piece of evidence would vanish forever, including Sofia. Without hesitation, she grabbed the control room radio and contacted Vittorio directly. "They planted bombs underground," she warned. Silence. Then Vittorio answered calmly. "How much time?" "Maybe 10 minutes. The old Mafia boss gave one final order. "Bring Marco to me alive." What followed became legendary inside criminal circles for years afterward. Vittorio's remaining loyal men launched a desperate counterattack through the mansion's central hall while Sofia guided them using hidden tunnel routes. Explosions rocked lower floors. Fire alarms screamed endlessly. Smoke swallowed entire wings of the estate. Finally, near the grand staircase, Marco and Vittorio faced each other. One weak from poison, the other consumed by ambition. Marco laughed coldly. "You are dying anyway." Vittorio stared at him silently before replying.
"No."
"You were impatient." Seconds later, gunfire erupted again. When the smoke cleared, Marco lay wounded beside the staircase, while armed guards surrounded him. And, for the first time in months, Vittorio stood, without collapsing, because the poisoning had finally stopped. By sunrise, the mansion looked like the aftermath of a war. Police surrounded nearby roads. Ambulances carried away the wounded. Smoke drifted from broken windows overlooking the ocean. News helicopters circled above while reporters desperately searched for answers nobody would officially give. Inside, Vittorio sat quietly in his office.
Alive.
Doctors later confirmed what Sofia had already discovered. The illness had never been natural. Small doses of poison over nearly a year had slowly destroyed Vittorio's body while making the symptoms appear medical and mysterious. Marco confessed everything after capture. He admitted building alliances with rival criminal investors who wanted control over Vittorio's international shipping empire. The poisoning was designed carefully, not to kill quickly, but to weaken leadership slowly while creating internal instability. It almost worked perfectly. But the most shocking part of the story wasn't the betrayal.
It was who stopped it.
Not elite bodyguards. Not intelligence agencies. Not rival gangsters. A cleaning woman. Sofia became impossible to ignore after that night. For years she had walked invisibly through rooms filled with powerful men. Nobody listened to her because they believed power belonged only to those with money, violence, or influence. Yet she saw what everyone else missed precisely because people underestimated her. Vittorio understood this deeply. Several weeks later, after recovering enough strength, he invited Sofia to the mansion garden overlooking the sea. The atmosphere felt strangely peaceful after so much violence. "You saved my life," Vittorio said. Sofia remained quiet. Then Vittorio offered her something nobody expected. Freedom. A new identity. Financial security. Safe relocation anywhere in the world. Enough money to disappear forever from the dangerous empire surrounding him. At first, Sofia refused. She had never wanted power. She only wanted truth. But Vittorio insisted. "People like us," he said while staring toward the ocean, "we survive because somebody chooses loyalty when everyone else chooses greed." For the first time in years, the feared Mafia boss looked human rather than legendary. Broken, tired, older. The empire survived, but something inside Vittorio changed permanently after the betrayal. He trusted fewer people, expanded less aggressively, became quieter, more isolated. Because poison doesn't only destroy the body, it destroys certainty. As for Sofia, she vanished quietly months later under her new identity. Some believed she moved abroad. Others claimed Vittorio secretly placed her under permanent protection. A few conspiracy theories even suggested she became one of his closest advisors from behind the scenes. Nobody truly knew, but across the criminal underworld, one story survived for decades. The story of the invisible woman who uncovered the truth hidden inside the most dangerous mansion in the city. And the Mafia boss who nearly lost everything because he trusted the wrong man while ignoring the right person standing quietly nearby the entire time.